David Barry Green Borders reporting from the Stitch and Craft Show, London Olympia. And we're very, very, very kind and honoured to be speaking with one of the organisers of the show. Welcome.
Hello there.
Can you tell us about the Stitch and Craft Show 2012?
Well, the Stitch and Craft Show, as the title suggests, really covers the entire spectrum of different craft activities. So we've got in the halls all sorts of paper crafts, scrapbooking and so on and so forth, but also a lot of textile crafts. So we've got a big feature in terms of quilting at the moment, but traditionally we've also been very, very strong in terms of cross stitch as well, plus knitting of course, which is having a big resurgence.
When I entered the Olympia Hall 2, there was such a buzz of excitement and very, very, very crowded. Can you tell me why this show is so popular?
Well, I think that the show is popular because we've been here for quite a number of years and therefore people know it well. But I think that the added factor is that so many people in this particular day and age are actually turning to craft activities.
Why is that?
Well, because I think that people really want to reconnect with some of those essential craft activities. It's the hands-on thing, it's the care that one particular human being can actually sort of make in terms of producing something for another human being. It's a very direct connection, if you like, and it makes such a big change from electronic games and computer games and things which are so detached. So I think that right at the moment the prevailing mood is to sort of get back to some real basics.
Does it attract a certain kind of person?
Yes, I think it probably does. I think it attracts people who are, if you like, well connected in terms of their own sort of psyche.
And is there a certain age group that are interested in arts and crafts?
I think a few years ago you would probably say quite safely that the craft activities were largely undertaken by people who would be maybe 50 years upwards, but that's no longer the case. I mean, looking around the halls you'll see a lot of very young people. If you take something like knitting, for example, the most popular time for people to take up knitting is when they've just had babies. So you get a lot of young ladies aged 30 or what have you who are suddenly starting to become involved in terms of knitting. But the great thing about crafts is that it really is very much open access to everybody, and one of the things that we very much cherish is the very fact that within the halls as well you'll have a lot of people in wheelchairs, because again craft activities are so open to people who might have other disabilities.
When I was in the hall, there was a lack of men. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I think that, again, we can honestly say that craft activities are generally a female pastime.
Right.
Having said that, I think you've got to be very, very careful, because I don't know whether you've met Mr. Cross-Stitch in the corner.
Right.
I mean, Mr. Cross-Stitch is there, he's all man, he's tattooed, you name it, and he's very much trying to preach the gospel effectively that, I mean, again, it's access for everybody. And we're finding more and more men are in fact sort of getting involved. And indeed I go as far as to say that some of the leading knitwear designers are actually men. And many of them are coming here again this weekend.
What would you say is the biggest attraction at the Stitch and Craft Show?
Well, this year I would think that it's probably the Olympic quilts, because it's the only opportunity anywhere for people to actually see all the quilts that have been made for the Olympics. You might not be aware, but there's been a tradition ever since the Atlanta Games for quilters to make a quilt as a donation, a gift if you like, to every single team that's participating, not just in the Olympics but the Paralympics and the Special Olympics. So there are 500 quilts, all destined to go to different countries participating in the Olympic Games. And the sad thing is that they will only actually ever be seen briefly on television and then in isolation around the globe when they're distributed during the Olympics as such. So we thought it would be a great idea to bring it all together. And just as we were saying to ourselves, well, that's going to be a major display, another group of people approached us who were making pennants. And this time round the idea was to make a pennant for literally every single participant in the Olympic Games. So once again, it's that whole ethos about people getting together, using crafts as the medium really to talk, to enjoy life, and all these things.
So the Stitch and Craft Show is Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday?
And Sunday, we go on all which way through till Sunday. It's 10 o'clock through to 5:30 each day.
And a family's welcome?
Absolutely. And in fact, we'd love to see youngsters. There are plenty of activities for the young. We've got a big decoupage area which has proved very, very popular with the children, where the children can actually work with huge great giraffes and paper up those particular giraffes, and we expect to see a sort of completed project by the end of the show.
And how would you persuade somebody to get off their iPod and perhaps get involved in crafts?
Just do it. I mean, there's no sort of magic wand that one can wave, but by and large, we know that down around the halls there is some particular activity that's really going to sort of reach out and grab most people. And whether it's beading, which is hugely popular, particularly with young women who are making jewellery for themselves, all which way through to sort of knitting, crochet, quilting, there really is something for everybody.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. And please come to the Stitch and Craft Show at London Olympia. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. David Barry, Green Borders, London Olympia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.